Bastard.
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 Bastard!
Bastard.
Bastard! Bastard!
Bastard. Bastard. Bastard.
Bastard.
Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my review for Netflix's new original anime, Bastard Heavy Metal Dark Fantasy, or the original title, which was BBASTARD Ankoku no Hakaishin. I probably decimated that, but I gave it my best. Let's get into it. When evil forces threaten to resurrect Anthrax, the god of destruction, the kingdom of Metallicana calls on a violent dark wizard for help. So based on the manga called Bastard or BBASTARD Ankoku no Hakaishin, Bastard the god of destruction, this manga series was illustrated by Kazushi Hagiwara and it began its serialization in 1988. It did have 6 OVA anime adapted from it, and then that was released in 1998, and then I think America got it a little while later after a few years. It's been sold over 30 million times, the manga itself, and you, like me, probably never thought that we were gonna get an anime from Bastard because of the nature and the grittiness and the balls out nature of this anime, this story, this manga. You probably thought this is not one we're gonna get. Nevertheless, we're here with 13 episodes. I can say, in case you go into this thinking this is going to be a contained story, it doesn't finish up the story. It is on a cliffhanger, so bear that in mind. You can watch it. There is a completion kind of an arc and character development, but the 13 episodes are about 25 minutes apiece once you take out that intro and outro after the theme, depending on whether you are going to listen to those intros and outro themes. So now that you've got that in your mind, you can be like, what are you talking about? What are you, like, if I haven't read the manga, why is this so out there? Well, there's a sexual theme. It's an 18, and it's one of the few adult animes that I've seen in a long time that reminds me of those 90s anime series and movies that were, I guess, not afraid to kind of reach that 18 limit for a reason. Like, there's some 18s or 15s that kind of, they're pushing the bar, they're changing up the way they show things because of where we are in society today, and there's so many things we can't say, we can't do. This, well, those animes back in the 90s, there was a lot more that they could do and show without seemingly getting in trouble with everybody around the world. If you think of films like Ninja Scroll, which I love and I think is a great anime film, or you think of the really kind of extreme like Legend of the Overfiend, you meet it somewhere in the middle, and that's kind of what you get. It's an 18 for adults. It shows excessive amount of gore. There's a lot of nudity from both men and women, although you don't actually see some of the parts that you think you might see. It's just a lot of suggestion of many different circumstances. But I would say that the animation itself, the fighting, I thought was beautiful to look at, if not intensely violent and way over the top. It's also not an anime that you have to think too much about. In fact, you can just sit back and, you know, kind of look at your phone and then look back and you wouldn't have missed out anything. Not that I would suggest looking at your phone. Put your phone away, enjoy the anime for what it is. I do hope we get the second part of this anime because it feels like it's really left us on a cliffhanger. Nevertheless, the anime itself I thought was immensely entertaining, but I did wonder how this got past. Like, someone said, yeah, this is fine, that bar, or what we used to have, like mentioning the Legend of the Overfiend or the Ninja Scroll. It's also, the characters are way over the top, exuberant. It's also one of those animes that kind of explain exactly what they're doing. If you think about Fairy Tail or Black Clover, and you have that kind of character in this position, you have the pervy characters, the anti-heroes that really need to build up being the hero. Well, not really. Like, there's a reason why it's called Bastard. Our character wants to take over the world, but because he's been put in 2 bodies, well, he's been reincarnated into a kid's body and living in this Lucian's body for 13, 14 years, he has melded his soul into 2, and so now he's developed a different sort of personality. He's not exactly the same guy that wanted to take over the world before. He still wants to do that, but there's this push and pull. So as we see him reconnecting with kind of his old crew, his worlds are kind of pushed or pulled in two different directions. And so we have some of those that he manages to reconnect with in good and bad ways. And then there's an overarching who are the actual bad guys and what are they up to and who wants to control the world. There's definitely those guys that you expect to be the bad guys to do exactly what they're going to do. They don't really surprise you, but there are moments like in the battle sequences, I think with the animation, that you're going to be surprised by how far they go, but how beautiful it is to watch. So it's brutal, it's honest in its battle, but it's definitely over the top. And so with the influence of the heavy metal, it's kind of like, rock out, just have fun. Remember when we used to do things like this without being slapped in the face with, you can't say that anymore, you can't do this anymore?
I remember. Oh, I remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
This is one of those anime that's kind of dare to say that I feel like is being fairly truthful to the manga. I've read a couple of chapters. I'm not like a huge fan of the original manga because I can't afford to read all the ones I want to. But from what I've read, it feels like it's been adapted with the heart and style that made the anime, that made the manga so popular. Let me know in the comments below your voice work for the characters. Do you still have the original voice? Like, are you like a diehard fan of the original voice work, or do you not mind the voice work here? I feel like the art lends itself to both the dubbing in the English and the original, because I watched a couple of in both English and dub, and I think they both work quite well. I would say if you're easily offended, if you're one of those people now that go, yeah, we shouldn't be having nudity, or we shouldn't, be showing that, and that's not the depiction of what we want, then you're probably not going to enjoy this, even from the first few minutes of this anime. But if you come from the old school anime style where you warped your fragile little mind watching things like Ninja Scroll and Legend of the Overfiend, and you were kind of birthed into anime with the Akira realm and Ghost in the Shell, and then watched those kind of anime series that kind of took down a different dark path but actually had meaning behind it, then you're going to enjoy this. There's not a lot of meaning behind this series except for fighting for those that you love, which is a good thing to be having. Think you're the most powerful fish in the sea, but there's always
a bigger fish.
I would say that the perviness is balanced out in this series. There's equal nudity of men to equal nudity of women. The guy, our main character, often arrives on the scene nude. So I knew I needed to address that because that's just where we live. That's the time and culture we live in. But really, I just wanted to concentrate on the fight sequences. When we get to see them, I think they were brilliantly shown. There's a huge amount of magic and spells. That the way they say it, it does crack me up how they speak the spells. It's like telling your enemy exactly the move you're about to do. And so many animes do this, and I always shake my head. Like, why would you do that? It's like the news announcing that the army has gone into this part of the country to defend this. You're like, why would you announce that? Your enemies are going to see that. So many time and time again with anime, you're like, oh my gosh, it's like those card anime series you watch, and you're like, I'm going to use my ultimate card. I choose you, Dragon Zord, with fire attack. It's kind of like that with the high pitched voices as well. And I had a lot of fun with it, but I don't think this will be everybody's cup of tea. I feel like I need to rate this separately for interesting anime, for the ballsiness to be able to go ahead and adapt something that probably wouldn't normally be greenlit today. I would give it 3.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5. For the craziness and the action, I probably give it 4.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5. There's 2 trains of thought here. If you're easily offended, just don't watch this. But if you love adult anime and it's not scared to go certain places that anime didn't usually go anymore, then this might be your cup of tea. So let me know your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. We have a cornucopia of animation reviews, world cinema, and anime reviews. That's kind of our niche here, and a few of the others that I enjoy doing. Patreons we have, podcasts, that's all on the channel. Check us out. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long on Tuesday.